Welcome back to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. In the realm of boxing, few matchups generate as much intrigue and debate as the idea of a showdown between Canelo Álvarez and Terence "Bud" Crawford. Both are generational talents, multi-division world champions, and future Hall of Famers. Crawford's masterful dismantling of Errol Spence Jr. in 2023 only added to the clamor for even greater challenges. And when it comes to challenges, few loom larger, both literally and figuratively, than Saul Canelo Álvarez. But while Crawford is undeniably great, stepping into the ring with Canelo Álvarez is a completely different proposition. When we break down the styles, the weight classes, the experience, and the sheer physicality involved, it becomes increasingly clear. Canelo Álvarez would beat Terence Crawford, and here's why. One, size and strength, the weight gap that matters. Crawford has climbed weight classes with grace and dominance, moving from lightweight to welterweight, and eventually capturing titles at 140 and 147 pounds. But Canelo is no welterweight. He has been campaigning comfortably at 168 pounds and even flirted with light heavyweight, knocking out Sergey Kovalev and going 12 rounds with Dmitry Bivol. Crawford would be entering completely foreign territory. Jumping from 147 to 168 is no small feat. He would not only be facing a heavier puncher, but one who has grown into his weight class, added muscle naturally, and has learned how to carry his power with him. Simply put, Canelo hits harder, absorbs shots better, and bullies opponents in ways Crawford has never had to deal with. Size doesn't always determine fights, but in a battle of elites where margins are razor thin, it would be a decisive factor. 2, experience at the top level. Both fighters have impressive resumes, but Canelo's is broader and deeper. He has fought a who's who of elite fighters across multiple eras. Floyd Mayweather, Gennady Golovkin 3 times, Sergey Kovalev, Miguel Cotto, Erislandy Lara, and more. He's battled southpaws, brawlers, slick boxers, and power punchers. His schooling against Mayweather early in his career molded him into one of the most adaptable and technically sound fighters in the game today. Crawford, on the other hand, has often struggled to get the biggest names in the ring due to boxing politics. His win over Errol Spence was legendary, but Spence was coming off a long layoff and serious car accident, raising questions about how much he had left. In terms of experience under the brightest lights and against the most dangerous men, Canelo holds the edge. He's been through wars, and he knows how to survive and thrive in deep waters. 3, style matchup, Crawford's counterpunching versus Canelo's pressure. Crawford's greatest strength lies in his ability to switch stances, set traps, and punish mistakes. He's a cerebral fighter who dissects his opponents and breaks them down mentally as much as physically. But Canelo is no ordinary aggressor. His defense, especially his head movement and upper body rhythm, is among the best in the sport. He doesn't rush in recklessly. Instead, he pressures with calculated footwork, traps fighters against the ropes, and delivers pinpoint counters. Crawford may find that Canelo is much harder to hit cleanly than expected, and when he does open up, Canelo's counters will carry a power Crawford has never felt before. The fight could turn into a dangerous chess match in the mid to late rounds, where Canelo's bodywork, timing, and heavier shots begin to add up. 4, body punching, the Canelo specialty. One of Canelo's most underappreciated weapons is his commitment to the body. Against the likes of Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plant, Canelo's thunderous body shots drained his opponents of stamina, speed, and confidence. Crawford has never faced anyone with that level of focused body attack. At 147, he could afford to absorb punches and still bounce around the ring. But at 168, against a body-punching machine like Canelo, those shots would have a cumulative effect, forcing Crawford to retreat and defend more than he usually does. 5, mental and physical toughness. Crawford is mentally tough, no doubt. He's shown it against mean-spirited opponents and in tough environments, but he's never been in the kind of war Canelo can drag a fighter into. Canelo's durability is remarkable. His chin has held up against some of the hardest hitters in the sport, and when he's faced adversity, like in the Bivol fight, he hasn't crumbled. He's remained composed, dangerous, and stubbornly competitive. If Crawford can't hurt or deter Canelo, which is very possible at 168 pounds, then he's going to have to box nearly a perfect fight for 12 rounds. And Canelo doesn't allow perfection. He finds ways to close the distance, land power shots, and steal rounds with aggression. 6. Canelo's timing is Crawford's kryptonite. While Crawford is a master of timing himself, Canelo is one of the few fighters who can match him in this department. He doesn't waste energy, doesn't throw unnecessary punches, and is extremely efficient. He studies his opponents over the first few rounds, then begins to unload with devastating precision. Crawford has a tendency to start slow and make reads, but against a strong starter like Canelo who pressures from the opening bell, that early patience could cost Crawford precious rounds, putting him behind on the scorecards and forcing him to take more risks later in the fight. Exactly when Canelo thrives. Final verdict, Canelo by unanimous decision or late stoppage. Crawford is an all-time great, and it would be wrong to say he doesn't have a chance. His speed, intelligence, and adaptability give him a puncher's chance, or rather, a strategist's chance. But in a real-world scenario, where size, power, and wear and tear matter, Canelo Álvarez would wear him down. Expect Canelo to walk through Crawford's best shots early, dig to the body, cut off the ring, and gradually break him down over 12 rounds. If Crawford's defense slips, or if he tires late, a stoppage could be on the table. Otherwise, a clear and convincing decision win would go to the Mexican superstar. In a battle of modern legends, it's Canelo who stands just a little taller, figuratively and literally.